But sorry to disappoint, it's not a real landing on a carrier. But what it is, it's a Nimitz class aircraft carrier. And what does that mean? It means we're back with the pyramids. Oh, man, picked up today with the pyramids. Just keep bouncing from one to the other. Then I get to the stage where I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Ah, a Nimitz class aircraft carrier, fully loaded, jets, fuel, ammunition, 101,000 tons. But we're going to call it 100,000, okay? Pyramid Giza weighs 6.5 million tons. A Nimitz class aircraft carrier weighs 100,000 tons. If we divide the pyramid by the aircraft carrier, we get 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. Pyramid Giza weighs the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. Right? Are we following so far? How would, let's say, one army from any country you want, right? The biggest army in the world, probably the ants, right? But how would that army go transporting just one cut up aircraft carrier across a desert? All right? Just one aircraft carrier. Where would, I mean, what? How many little bits are you going to cut it up into? Not 100,000, because that would be tons. There would be 100,000 each. Not each, no, individual tons. Right? One aircraft carrier. You could forget about the Egyptians having carved out even the tower of one of them, right? Because you can't get in there to get the stones out. So the Egyptians did not cut the stones out of any quarry with copper hand tools, let alone the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. And I'm going to throw someone off the bus in a minute, all right? Guys, comments. I mean, for a while there, I thought we'd turned a corner. I'm sure half of them are wind-ups, what have been coming out today. So what part of this part of that is not a tide mark? What part of that is not a tide mark? No, not lightning strikes, yeah? Not lightning strikes, no. Napoleon didn't go north, south, east and west with his boats and shoot a perfectly measured tide mark all the way around the top of Pyramid Giza. It's illogical. It's silly, isn't it? That wear is horizontal. Only a fool would not think that that is not horizontal, right? Look at the Sphinx. Go on about the rain. There's bits of rain damage. Look, these little bits that come down here. There. They say, look, it's rain damage. What about that? What about that and 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 that? I mean, what is it, right? People saying if it was water damage, all the stones, it would all be smooth. The water damage happened thousands of years ago, maybe even in the tens of thousands of years ago, maybe even the hundreds of thousands of years ago, all right? look at this for what it is. 4,500 years ago. Some words I want to say, but obviously I can't. Look. What you're looking at here is a cataclysmic event. All right? These have been submerged. It's so obvious, right? Look, see that gash in there? Down there. I mean, look. Some people saying, yeah, people have been scurrying up and pushing the rocks over, and as they topple over, boom, boom, they go crashing to the bottom and break up. 2.5 ton stones, 2 square blocks. How would you even unwedge one? Right? This is the thing. Right. So that's intact there. How do you pull and push one of those stones off the way this pyramid was made? Look. Why is this not focusing properly? This camera's going back on the 25th for a replacement. How does anyone, if none of those stones were missing, how does anyone, again, get behind one to push it out? See, it's the things that people are saying that make no sense. Don't people think before they speak? Look, I wanted to print some more pics out today, but my computer's down and it's not going to be good until the end of next week. I mean, it's not for my benefit. You know what that damage is? A lot of this damage up on the top. I bet it started with birds. Because if this thing was sticking out, and it was one of the only things sticking out, because it is the only smooth surface to be seen. And that is another one of the reasons I wanted to print some pics out, because the texture of all of the others is like that, water damage. Whereas Giza at the top, look, if you can't see this for what it is, it's not through the lack of evidence. And that's again something people would be saying, what's your evidence? What's your evidence? My evidence is knowing that Pyramid Giza weighs the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. That's a bit of evidence, isn't it? Isn't it? Not enough evidence. I think the Egyptians, you think even us today could ship the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers, cut it out of a limestone quarry and then transport it God knows how many hundreds of kilometres across a desert. There was loading and unloading of boats before there was a wheel. Look, it's getting to the point where, what do we call it? Cognitive dissonance? It's obvious. All of it is obvious. If you watch the ancient civilizations now that's coming up, some docos, it's all there. It's obvious. What is it? Academia. Academia disagrees. Academia thinks it's this and that, and the reason that there's massive stone megaliths all over the planet is because of, what was it? Oh, who cares? Academia is struggling right now because they're not getting anything right. And the truth is coming out. How people disagree, how people still continue to think that the Egyptians had anything to do with that, it's beyond comprehension. It's just a lack of common sense. It's a lack of listening and looking at the facts, because they are there and they are obvious. Right, buenas noches.